Ladies and gentlemen, the date is July 29th, and it is party time, Mom. Welcome to another episode of the Chad Prather Show. We're here in the mothership, which is Studio 22. The puppet master Mark, the perfectionist, is at the helm, driving us deep, deep into the bowels of the nether regions. Candice, the queen of the Ethiopians, angelically looks on. Herbert the silent deer, the same face of shock he made the day the truck hit him. Bum, bum, bum. Party Foul Steve and the Texas legend Steve Helm. Let me ask you guys a question. Did you ever listen to those dramatic radio things that came on AM radio late at night, like the thrillers or the cliffhangers, the radio stories?
How old do you think we are, dude?
107. I used to listen to them.
You might be older than me now.
I used to listen to those. Did you not? Did you not hear those?
No. I know what you're talking about.
You know, War of the Worlds was a fake thing, right? It wasn't true.
Well, it was fake, but it was entertaining. I'm not talking about like Flash Gordon and Little Orphan Annie. Cool. I ain't talking about that.
I was thinking
stuff.
like the Lone Ranger kind of stuff. Remember that on radio?
Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
I used to say the same thing.
Son of a bitch.
Howdy doody, John.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. It's just fun. Sarah Gonzalez, the host of the News and Why It Matters. Sarah Gonzalez, unfiltered, unlimited, unscripted, undressed, all these things. It's going to be untamed.
Uncharted.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to have her here today.
Unrequited.
She gave me some great news.
What's that?
She told me that last week when I wasn't here, that I was invited on to her show, but I was not here, so I didn't get to co-host her show.
It's a weird coincidence.
Okay, so I didn't tell him.
She just told me.
I didn't tell him because I didn't want him to be disappointed because I have to baby Party Foul Steve.
I'm sorry about
that.
that.
I have to handle him with kid gloves.
That's a great disappointment.
And then I was like, ready to the pub, ready, bam, there it is. And Natalie's here. Hot news made it.
That's that movie magic right there.
It is technically a monsoon outside, so
I'm
today's
so wet
going to be.
right now.
Wait a minute. What'd you say?
Me too, girl.
You are?
Oh,
What'd you say?
I'm so wet right now.
Okay. Yeah.
You sat in your car till it stopped raining. Don't lie.
Yeah,
It's
look at
a
your hair.
monsoon
I
outside.
look like a wet chihuahua. You look like you made it in.
Why you got to be a little Spanish dog?
I didn't want to culturally
Sarah,
appropriate any of your
Sarah
animals.
Gonzalez. Now, and I
schnauzer?
don't mean that like this. I think this is a cute thing. Okay, I'm not saying this is an insult thing. This is a cute thing because I would never insult either of you ladies. You know how people look like their dogs?
Oh, jeez.
You look like a little Doberman.
You look like
I look like my dog.
Your dog makes faces that look like you. Let me put it that way. That's
pretty
your
dog.
dog. I want you to put pictures together.
Okay.
Because I've done it.
Okay.
I have done this for entertainment value, taking a side by side of your dog and you, and I thought they look like each other. Now Sarah doesn't look like a dog, but her dog looks like her.
I mean, at least I don't have a bulldog. I guess
It's a cute dog. All right, so you got your little.
Okay, that's gonna be my project when I go home tonight.
The shit I can say on this show and get away with is phenomenal. Can we, Mom? Can we make the word shit like an okay word to say? I gotta have something.
Yeah, we got to have something we can say.
Gotta have something.
Are you asking your mom?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
My mom told me I don't like it when
Mom.
you use the S word, and I'm like, that's what you're worried about?
That's funny.
Like,
Steve?
You know what? If we can pull that off, it'll be a cunning stunt.
Yep.
I want you guys to know that Deborah is now homeless. That's right. She couldn't believe she was being evicted from her home. She didn't sell it. She was being evicted. She didn't miss any payments. She wasn't defaulting on the mortgage. She was a victim of home title fraud. That's right. It's a devastating crime that can cost you and your home. It cost you your home, and title fraud is not covered by your insurance company. It's not covered by common identity theft services. The only folks you can trust to protect your home title is Home Title Lock, because you have cyber thieves. Cyber thieves are out there on the internet just like you're on the internet, except they know something you don't know. They know how to find your title to your home that's kept online. They forge your name on your deed stating you sold your home and refile as the new owner. And in the case of Deborah, She didn't know she was a victim until the eviction notice arrived. Home Title Lock puts a virtual barrier around your home's title, and the instant they detect tampering, they're going to mobilize to shut that down. First things first, go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim and don't even know it. They're going to tell you. Then use code CHAD for 30 free days of protection. That's HometitleLock.com, code CHAD. Going to be a fun one. Hang tight. AOC is the future of the Catholic Church. Did you read this?
Oh boy.
That's right.
Oh.
See, this is the thing. People don't want you to talk about this stuff. But we'll quit writing stuff about it. They're like, quit picking on AOC. Does that mean she's going to be the Pope? Nope.
Maybe one day.
Her stunning speech on the House of the Floor last week has been called a comeback for the ages. Did you see the speech?
Did she give a speech on the floor?
Yeah, she gave a speech. It was the most important feminist speech in a generation.
Oh.
And a lesson in sexism and decency.
A lesson.
I'm sure.
I call it truth.
What about abortion? Did they talk about that?
Oh, I heard about the controversy where allegedly some other congressman called her a name.
Yoho of Florida.
Yeah, which there was no proof of.
Yeah, supposedly called her an effing B.
She get her feelings hurt.
Where she?
Oh,
yeah,
she got
that
her
was, she
fifis
made
hurt a lot.
She made
ridiculous.
She said that he accosted her, which I'm like, he didn't accost you if he just said a name, which by the way we have no proof of.
Right.
But that's like Ben Shapiro catcalling her.
And that was the whole speech. That's what it was about.
Oh God.
She said,
catcalling bad?
Well, he challenged her to a debate, and she said he was catcalling her. It just things get taken out of context real quick when you have the brain of AOC.
I was going to say, I've never hated being catcalled.
I know.
We know.
We won't go down that road.
yeah.
Dummy.
So can we continue? Are we just going to keep just doing random shit?
Yeah.
Or can we talk about what the issue is? Because right now, y'all don't have a clue what went on. We were talking about the Catholic Church. So she said the Congresswoman gave what sounded like a pretty good description of what goes on in the sacrament of reconciliation. When a decent man messes up, as we all are bound to do, he tries his best and does apologize. Not to save face, not to win a vote. He apologizes genuinely to repair and acknowledge the harm done so that we can all move on. Perhaps such Catholic references are not surprising since the rock star millennial leader of the left grew up Catholic and even wrote about how her faith influences her views on public policies, such as mass incarceration. So there you go. And I think it's just simply because they're saying that she's the future of the Catholic Church because that's the direction the Catholic Church should go. Right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to be the Pope.
Oh, okay.
Right.
They're not going to give her a title. But if there's to be a future for the Catholic Church in the U.S., it must resemble Ocasio-Cortez in her passion for justice and human dignity, and in her courage and integrity, even in the face of vulgar attacks.
And people only apologize when they get caught. They don't come out ahead of time and apologize for something they did.
Rarely.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, I apologized a whole lot yesterday to Natalie, and Natalie wouldn't just take it. She would. She took it, but she could have really milked it. It made me feel bad. I'm sorry, Natalie.
Stop.
And then I saw you at the gun range, and we just hugged and held and fondled and kissed.
Other things.
I know. No, we were good. We shot guns.
Such an effing bee.
I know. I feel accosted.
I'm the future of the Catholic Church. How about that?
I don't look at her and think, ooh, there's a moral compass.
Well, she's even said it herself. She said that the truth doesn't matter, right? What was it she said? That
Facts and truth, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't exactly that, but she was saying,
that like the ends justify the means, basically.
Well, obviously somebody wrote that speech for her.
which is what they do for everything that comes out of her mouth.
And most politicians, that's what they do.
I would have to have someone write me a speech.
But I mean, just based on everything I've ever seen come out of her mouth, there ain't no way she did that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being critical of her as a woman. I'm being critical of her.
And her brain.
Just her. I mean, she's something. So I don't really want to have my shoes off, but it's soaking wet.
I know.
Chad, did she come to Kaylee's defense when didn't somebody in the press call her an effing B as well?
They called her a lion bee.
Okay, well, either way, did AOC go, how dare you?
I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out her opinion on that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're all hypocrites.
Did you listen to that soundbite? It's very hard to hear anybody say that.
I did listen quite a few times. I could see where somebody would think that that's what it was. I could see how it could be also written off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there you go. So Notre Dame has withdrawn from hosting the first Trump and Biden debate. So the Catholics are rising up.
They want AOC.
Quasimodo is pissed.
We see what's going on here.
I do a humpback joke.
Wrong Notre Dame. This is the one in Indiana. Yeah. I'll tell you, I saw a funny meme. Our friend Emma Mitchum, she put out a meme. I don't know if she made it or whatever, but it showed them introducing Joe Biden coming out to debate at the Democratic debates, and it was like la na 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 as he was walking out, and then they started playing Thunderstruck, and here comes the silhouette of Trump out through the smoke and the podium rising up and the whole thing. And I'm sitting there, and she had put under there, she said, this video has been doctored. Like, that's the world we live in now, is that people can't even take a joke. You have to say that it's been doctored.
Well, I mean, Twitter's removed videos that clearly has like Trump and other lawmakers superimpose their faces on things that are very clearly like a wrestling match. And they have to remove it because it's not real, as if no one could tell.
Did Trump Jr. get suspended from Twitter?
He got partially suspended.
Yeah.
He can't use all of his features.
Well, that's happened to me a time or two, but I'm not the son of the president.
There's a lot of your features that should be taken away.
Oh, look at you.
There he is.
Wasn't it? It was that doctor, right, who was saying she wanted Fauci to take a piss test?
Yes.
To see if he was on hydroxychloroquine? Mm-hmm. She's like, prove it.
Yeah.
Guarantee you he's on it. I mean, what's the beef with this hydroxychloroquine? I mean, what is the beef?
Well, they have to stick to the script now because Trump came out and suggested that it was a good treatment. So now they've got to stick to the script that it's horrible because they can't possibly admit that there might be some validity to what he said.
Yeah, that, and it probably works.
Right.
I mean, from everything I've heard, it works.
And they can't make enough money off of it.
Well, right. And I mean, they're working on that vaccine. So
and they
if
need
this cure,
virus to do its job.
Right. Until November.
Yeah.
I mean, November 4th, we can get that virus out of here.
100%. Joe Biden gets elected. He steps in and says, okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. They probably already have a new name for all that crap, too. They won't even call it hydroxychloroquine.
They'll just rename the same drug.
Yeah, they'll call it Biden gets rid of your sniffles, which is very ironic.
You say, well, he didn't cure cancer.
Biden sniffle cure.
He didn't cure cancer, but he did cure coronavirus.
Oh,
so.
100%.
Yeah.
That's bigger than cancer.
Yeah.
Coronavirus
Exactly.
is.
Exactly.
Yeah, Sniffy Biden. Sniffy, Dr. Sniffies. Cure for your sniffles. That's what it's going to be.
And I understand that this particular doctor who they removed the video, I understand she has some, controversial history with things that she said.
All do.
Right. But you gotta, I mean, there are doctors in the Metroplex who are treating people with hydroxychloroquine.
With 100%
zinc.
results.
Right. So, I mean, you can't discredit all of them.
Yeah.
There's no way you can discredit all of them. And if they went through the same
treatment at that.
medical training.
Yeah, there's a cocktail, right? That the doctors are saying there's three
Someone say
things.
Hydroxychloroquine, azithromycin, and zinc.
Yeah, and 100% recovery, no hospital time so far.
Right. And it's like, so why are these doctors discredited and they're automatically quacks when they went through the same medical...
Because the hospitals are getting paid for coronavirus, and that's curing them at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Drives me nuts.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens if President Sniffy gets elected. Yeah.
Do you think, though, that if Trump gets elected, that they will continue the coronavirus thing? Because I'm not so. I mean, they would have 4 years of that, and for what? He's already in there, and he's got to leave after he's done.
I think it all continues.
Really?
They're going to start talking back with the Russian meddling. Because again, they just keep with the same script. They keep with the same scenario. That's what I think. But I hope not. But no, as long as they can control a narrative, they're going to keep on.
But there's an end game there right now.
A goal,
right? Right, like the end game is to get him kicked out, to get enough Americans to believe that. What's the end game if he gets reelected?
Resignation, or just drive him to the point of where he wants to quit, or just make him look so bad by crashing the economy that you have to, I mean, trust me, they're going to pull out. You're going to find out laws that are on the books once Trump gets reelected. You think about how. Help me with this now. Think about all the words you've never used every day in your vocabulary, and now we use them all the time. Collusion, quid pro quo,
hydroxychloroquine.
Quid pro quo kills me.
I mean, think about all the different words that are out there that we now talk about.
I had to Google.
I mean, how many people have ever talked about a FISA court?
Yeah.
People don't talk about that. So now all of this new vernacular is out there, all because of the last 3 years of Donald Trump. But it's okay. We're 100 days. We're 7 days now? 96, 97 days for Trump gets reelected?
Yeah,
and I'll be there.
98.
Yeah, I think it's right. It's exciting times we live in, folks.
I feel like that their own cocktail of, this race war and COVID would have gone better with the third piece, which was a better candidate than Biden, because I feel like that's the tripod leg that's a little compromised.
Yes,
they just I don't understand what their thinking was behind putting Biden as the third piece.
The left is, look, at the end of the day, there's a lot of dumb people on both sides of the political spectrum, but the sheer fact that the Democratic National Committee is so dumb to keep rolling out what they've done in plain sight, I might add. It's funny to watch. Like, for instance, when Hillary Clinton bought the nomination from the DNC, Donna Brazile admits it's true. Bernie's like, okay, so could she win? It's been so long since I've done a Bernie. Feels good. And nobody ever talks about Bernie Sanders anymore, right? Has anybody has he been in the news? You've got a show called The News and Why.
I did read a headline that said that his people were planning some sort of, convention overthrow if they didn't include Medicare for all and in all of their party platforms. But we'll see.
Our buddy Jesse Kelly said, I use that term lately,
buddy-ish.
Buddy-ish. Yeah. Somebody said on Twitter the other day, I put in under it, I commented, I thought I was funny. This person said, hey, I'm Jesse Kelly and I'm an asshole. And Jesse said, so am I. And I said, I sometimes identify as Jesse Kelly's asshole. But Jesse was talking about, somebody said, so when's the next KKK convention? And he said in Milwaukee on August 17th.
That's amazing. That's great.
Talking about the Democratic Convention.
He is.
I love it.
He's quick-witted.
Yeah, he's
that one.
Yeah, he's whatever.
Don't tell him I said that.
I don't have a jealous bone in my body. Oh, health, economic assistance, liability in schools. Mitch McConnell. Yeah, they're going to use the stimulus checks. Will this time include extra cash, Steve, for people with adult dependents?
Yeah, but they're cutting the overall funds. Anybody over $99,000 a year is not getting nothing.
So, like I was saying, Steve,
not getting nothing.
Read it all. I already read those.
I know, but
even early this morning.
He was waiting.
Yeah, Steve's on it.
He wrote them.
I've had it with these stimulus
checks. But if you make below
checks.
$75,000, you get the full $1,200.
Yeah,
right. So.
Oh my gosh.
And you get more apparently.
If you make more than 99, but you're worth less than 75.
Ooh, fair. The delta.
Oh, that's a whole other issue.
I'm not sure they have a carve out for that one.
Shut up.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal, folks. Bernie Sanders is actually in the headlines. We're going to talk about that. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Yeah, they're not as enthusiastic about Joe Biden as they want you to believe. You made a good point, Natalie, about third leg of the tripod's kind of weak, and it is. Co-chair of Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign vividly described how she feels about choosing between Biden and Trump, liking it, as she said, to only having to eat half a bowl of shit.
Wow.
It's like saying to somebody you have a bowl of shit in front of you, and all you got to do is eat half the shit instead of the whole thing. It's still shit. That's Nina Turner.
That's funny.
It's fair.
It's funny.
It's a fair point.
It's very funny. That's where we are in America, folks. That's where we are. Can you imagine?
Just eat your bowl of shit and move on.
Can you imagine the Lincoln Douglas debates, and then a co-chair for the Douglas campaign comes out and says, you know what, that Lincoln, he's like eating half a bowl of shit. Eat ye bowl of shit. Eat thee ye bowl of shit. Shittles.
Funny thing about that little white speck on top of chicken shit. It's chicken shit too.
Oh, man. Trump seeking to appeal to Sanders backers by pointing out that Biden supported the Iraq War, voted for the North American Free Trade Agreement, and authored a 1994 crime law credited with contributing to the mass incarceration of black people. Oh, man. Last time I got a lot of Bernie Sanders voters, as you know, a very good percentage, the president said. People were shocked, mostly because of trade. Yeah.
A very good percentage.
Very good.
Very good.
So, yeah, Joe Biden.
She can call it shitty, but before we entered the Twilight Zone in March, we had a really, really banging economy. And I think Trump has done a great job before they derailed it.
Well, I mean, what do you want? You want a guy who's been in Washington, D.C. for 50 years and accomplished nothing?
Right.
Or Trump, who did all that he did in less than, in 2 years?
Right.
Like you've said before, the definition of insanity. The guy's been there for that long and nothing's changed, so try it.
Well, let's look at it. Barack Obama said, how are you going to create more jobs? You got a magic wand? Unless you got a magic wand, you're not going to create more jobs. I mean, where are they going to come from? Mm-hmm. And then what happened? Trump came in there and pulled that magic wand out, and boom, there it was. You got record low unemployment for minorities and Hispanics. You've got, the jobs market was huge. You had less regulation. You had a lot of conversation about being oil independent, energy independent. There was all of those moves that were being made. We were talking about American steel. We were talking about pulling things out of China. There was the First Step Act, which is something Barack Obama could have done and never did. Never. Listen to me, folks. You can argue till you're blue in the face. Barack Obama never did prison reform. Yep. 8 years. Here's a president out of Chicago, a community organizer, no less, and did nothing for prison reform in that regard. And Trump comes in there and does that, gets people out of jail, gets people that should have never been in there out. I mean, this guy, now...
He's a horrible white supremacist.
He's a terrible white supremacist. Yeah. I mean, what? The owner, founder, whatever, of BET comes in and says, yeah, man, you've been great for the black community. And then you got these folks that are going to pander. At what point in time is Joe Biden going to condemn BLM? When's he going to condemn Antifa? Jerry Nadler. When are any of them? He calls it a myth. Yeah. I mean, when are any of them going to step out and say this is bad? When are you going to condemn Portland rioters in all these folks? When are you going to come out and say it?
They're not going to alienate their own voters.
Not going to do it. Not going to do it. But that right there is a picture of what you're going to get on a wide scale. Spineless people with an inability and an unwillingness to speak out against anarchy. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Harvard University's iconic statue of its namesake was vandalized with the words devil worship. The graffiti was scrawled in spray paint along the base of the John Harvard statue in Cambridge's Harvard Yard. Khakis. I'm wearing khakis. I crank my car with khakis. Yeah. So there you go. 1884 statue. These people, have you ever tried to get paint off of something? It ain't easy.
Yeah. It's not easy.
I mean, at this point, just tear the buildings down. I mean, y'all have done effed it up so bad. Just painting your crap all over it. But you know, some people are pissed off. Like, I love that what was it, Lori Lightfoot? She was all, let them protest till they got in her neighborhood. And then it got real. I heard, and, you know, we'll see what happens, but somebody sent me a message and said they got a report that they were sending a busload of BLM protesters to Burleson, Texas.
No.
I'm just waiting on my alarm to go off. I want to go down there and watch. You know, the Battle of Manassas was interesting there, the Civil War. You know, I should do it. Candace, I should do a little thing on the Battle of Manassas sometime and really compare that to today, when the North met the South on the field of battle, and a lot of people brought their Sunday lunches out. You know, their picnic lunches and the wagons and the stuff to watch the battle. And what they saw was so horrendous that, I mean, then the battle starts spilling out into civilians, right? I mean, it's just like, oh my God, they couldn't get away from it fast enough. That's basically where we're headed. Mm-hmm. Everybody's sitting back watching this stuff go on, and I'm telling you, there's going to be somebody who doesn't care, just doesn't care. And you people, going to keep coming down there spray painting statues and showing up in certain cities and certain towns. Y'all are way, way south of I-20. Y'all are way south of I-20. Y'all need to stick right around there. If y'all going to do your protesting, get up there in the city. Y'all coming down to Burleson and Cleburne and Alvarado and Grandview, Texas. It's going to be a different story.
Well, and they're balling up right now because there's not really any consequences for their actions. Nobody's really getting in trouble.
And that's what people see, and that's what's pissing them off.
Correct.
You know, that's why I keep saying the hills have eyes. People are watching.
Well, I mean,
people are watching.
The guy in Austin got killed.
Yeah.
And that was in Austin.
That was in Austin.
Which is not what you would call conservative.
No.
So imagine that coming to...
Walked up to the wrong car.
A more red...
Sure did.
Pointed the wrong gun. Mm-hmm. I said it on your show the other day. You know, that logic says this wasn't a mass shooting.
Right.
This guy didn't pull up in his car and just start popping protesters or rioters. You know, what he said was they pointed the gun at him.
Yeah.
And he shot the person who pointed the gun at him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that guy had already been on camera talking about taking care of business, basically. And he's the one that got shot.
Yep.
So obviously he's the one who instigated something to have gotten shot.
And the driver is...
And no one else got shot.
Right. And the driver's been fully cooperative with police.
Yeah.
Yeah, he called 911 immediately.
Yeah.
And now they arrested whoever was shooting at the car, and they released him too. So I don't know.
I saw a funny video a few weeks ago where this guy was standing in the street. He was talking to a car, and the guy behind was honking his horn. And he was like, get out of the way, get out of the way. And the guy comes walking back there and pulls his thing up, and he's got a gun. And the guy hangs his out the window and says, look here, brother, the difference between me and you is this is licensed. So I'm going to shoot you. And when the cops show up, they're going to high five me because you stole that one. So here's a big difference, buddy. So get your ass out of the street.
Yep.
And the funny thing about it is what they don't understand is there's perfectly legal ways, and I'm not going to get into this, but there's perfectly legal ways that they could stop all of this, what I call an insurrection going on in the streets of America, and it'd be completely legal. It just, but at some point in time, do the streets, everybody keeps jumping on me, and we got to go to a break, but everybody keeps jumping on me saying, we're the taxpayers. We pay for the streets, we pay for the schools, we pay for these community things and all that stuff. Okay, if you own them, why can't you go take them back? Mm-hmm. Right? I'm not advocating violence. I'm just saying you can go take them back. Mm-hmm. You're the taxpayer. You can take them back. Well, I mean, I don't know about all that. I mean, let's let the city do that. Well, you're the one that keeps saying you own them. You're the taxpayer. Interesting things to think about. Mm-hmm. Interesting times we live in, Sarah Gonzalez. Y'all are so cute, Steve and Steve. Like two testicles. We'll be right back. So before we go into anything, how you feel? You okay?
I'm getting to be a little uncomfortable.
Are you?
Yeah.
You have a human in you.
I do. And that human just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah.
Thought it was just a cluster of cells.
It's a protoplasmic blob.
It's a great point.
Do you miss legally breathing recirculated air?
Do I miss legally breathing recirculated air?
You're not allowed to anymore. Not without a mask on.
Oh, well, I don't. I do it anyway.
So,
well, I mean,
taking the streets back right there.
Well, it turns out that probably oxygen is essential for someone who is growing a tiny human.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a little bit essential for me.
It's a fetus.
Parasite.
I didn't mean to offend anyone.
Right. Fetus don't need oxygen. Yeah. Feti don't need oxygen. I don't know what the singular. I don't know what the plural of a fetus. Fetuses. They don't need oxygen. They're just little blobs.
I mean, I need oxygen to keep them cooking.
True.
So.
I mean, I had somebody the other day that I went to high school with who commented on that. And they like to troll my pages, right? Mm-hmm. They were talking about, well, I don't believe that an unborn fetus is a human being. I'm like, then what is it?
Yes, which is hilarious to me because when I posted my ultrasound at 21 weeks and said the left will have you believe that this is just a clump of cells, but it very clearly is a human baby, I had a ton of them tell me, well, that we only think that for like the beginning. No one ever said that that's a clump of cells. I'm like, you freaking say it all the time.
All the time.
All the freaking time until it comes out of the magical birth canal and then all of a sudden it becomes a human being. As if that's scientific at all.
We think that at the beginning.
Animal? Yeah, only at the beginning.
Is there pictures of that?
3D.
Animal, vegetable, mineral.
God, it drives me crazy.
Ellen DeGeneres show. What's going on with that thing? Is that over with?
Ellen?
Yeah, because, she went off the air, right?
Oh, that's right. At the same time, Jimmy Kimmel didn't
all these different ones.
Yeah.
What happened with that, Mark? You watch Ellen.
Ellen's biggest fan right here.
That's how I start every morning, with a little bit of Ellen.
A little bit of Ellen. You like to dance with Ellen?
Oh, yeah. When she comes out, I stand up and clap and do the whole thing.
I can see Mark doing that.
Get a little Ellen dance going? Yeah.
No, she's like 61.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Random
You
fact.
know what's funny?
So is Steve Helms.
I have heard rumors of people who have been around Ellen.
Don't we have somebody that works here that used to work for her? Security?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I've heard
I
rumors.
wasn't going to go that far.
Let's leave that alone.
So what?
Reasonably easily
deduced. I don't know what you're going to say.
Well, I'll tell you after the break.
No!
So now that we can't talk about that, Steve sometimes forgets that this is a major media outlet.
Oh, yeah.
And that all of a sudden Glenn Beck starts getting a lot of emails. People going, this is why we can't stand you, Beck. You and your network.
Can we once again decipher between the Steves?
No. If you choose to come in here,
they'll know.
If you choose to come in here and sit down, then I am not going to take an extra mile to delineate between the two of you.
Steve 1 and Steve 2.
Just own it. Own it. She's 62. Yeah. So
Ellen?
Anyway, yeah. But anyway.
Wow.
She looks great.
She does look good.
I wasn't making it up.
They weren't listening to you say it. Anyway, toxic workplace. Okay, now that Candace is back, the Reverend Al Sharpton and the mother of Eric Garner attend the funeral of a 1-year-old boy shot dead.
Oh, we're allowed to have funerals again?
Apparently so. Let's look at Mayor Lori Lightfoot here on this.
I sent him a letter on Monday outlining the very specific things that the federal government is uniquely qualified to help with, starting with common sense gun control. The fact of the matter is, Our gun problem is related to the fact that we have too many illegal guns on our street, 60% of which come from states outside of Illinois. We are being inundated with guns from states that have virtually no gun control, no background checks, no ban on assault weapons. That is hurting cities like Chicago. That is the thing that if the president really wanted to help, that and the other things I identified in my letter he could do today, tomorrow, but he's not really interested in helping in that way.
Oh my God.
That is bullshit.
I can't.
That is citizens
I can't
are the
even
problem,
believe it.
not another state.
She's blaming other people.
Yes, other states. For having the legal access to firearms. Why would you do this to a pregnant woman? It's not good to raise my blood pressure right now. It's really not good to raise my blood pressure right now.
Get that fetus some oxygen.
Take that mask off.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And CNN just runs with it. Doesn't push back on her.
There was the 22-month-old toddler, right, who was tragically shot, who was in his stroller, stray bullet during a family cookout. That was in New York. And, of course, you have had that happen over and over and over again in Chicago. I mean, now you see video that happened at another funeral that was going on. There was a shooting where like 14 people were shot in Chicago. So Mayor Lori Lightfoot comes out and says this. And what state doesn't have a background check?
Right.
What's an assault weapon?
Right.
What do you want in banned?
Whatever they want it to be.
Who here wants illegal guns on the streets?
Yeah, right. So
correct.
What her accusation is, if I could be very specific, is she's saying that they're buying guns in Indiana and they're bringing them over to Chicago. Well, the life of a gun. I got up this morning, I cocked myself, and I started walking towards Chicago. I hear Chi-Town is a place for a groovy, shiny gun cat like me. And I went over there looking for action.
And some great
Little did I
pizza.
know, action would soon find me.
Tracy novel.
See how we go right back into the radio novellas? I love them.
Well, why doesn't that violence happen in Indiana where the gun was bought?
Isn't that something? Isn't that something?
Where it is actually legal.
And how do you become the victim all of a sudden?
Yeah, we had
poor
Colin
Chicago.
Noir on the show,
Right.
a year or so ago, and he brought up that very good point about, why doesn't Indiana have that issue? Indiana doesn't have the.
The place where it's legal doesn't have the problem that you have, Lori Lightfoot. So why is it then the other state's fault?
Who was that was interviewing her in that deal?
I think it was Jake Tapper.
It was Tapper, wasn't it? Yeah. I was paying attention to her little shrunken head. She looks
That's
like
the
that
best
Beetlejuice.
I've seen her look in a while.
does.
Yeah. Well, she had a lot of makeup going
Yeah.
on right there. A lot of makeup going on. Lori works hard.
She does look like the shrunken head on Harry Potter.
She the one on
In the bus.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah,
I think
yeah.
Beetlejuice.
She just needs this black and white stripes.
Yeah.
She does.
Okay, I'm going to ask this because I don't know, and I want y'all to answer it. But I thought that Trump was going to send federal help there to help solve that problem, correct? And she said that
no.
if he sends it, she will make sure it doesn't happen.
Yes.
And then in the same breath, she's saying Trump's not doing anything. I don't.
She said
I'm
no.
not trying to be an
and
idiot
then
here. I'm not.
I think she's trying to separate the two issues.
she said no, and then they got in her neighborhood and started getting crazy, and she started getting warm to the idea of it. But that's the whole thing.
Interesting how that happens.
Look, it ain't your fault. Right? If you get an argument with your spouse, it ain't your fault. You don't want it to be your fault because you done gone out on the limb, right? You're the one. You don't want to take responsibility. I'm going to keep on fighting, prove my point. I got a point I want to make.
Well, in my case, it isn't my fault.
100%.
Yeah.
She can't take the blame.
Right.
Because she's a politician, right? She can't own it and say, hey, we have a problem. We have a problem. There's a people problem. There's a culture and community problem.
How long has she been mayor, though? I mean, wouldn't it be easy to just say this started with all of my predecessors and let me be the one to solve it?
She definitely inherited a problem.
Right.
But she also could, politically, that's a political spin, in my opinion. If you want to say, well, look, we got protesters that are coming out. Yeah, but people have always been getting shot, even long before protests were going on. So That would be a little bit of I think, political spin and reach. But yeah, to come out and say, okay, we've had a problem for a long time. Now we're going to figure it out. We're going to work together with state and federal officials to make sure that this ends. We're going to bring whatever we need to bring into these communities to make a difference, make a change. We're going to work on the families in these communities. We're going to make sure that people are provided for and taken care of and have a safe place in which to grow, to worship, to have a funeral, to have a barbecue, for crying out loud, all these things. I mean, I could get political on you too. I could provide all kind of word solutions, but then you got to back it up and you got to do it.
But I think that's a win-win if you're a Democrat in a place like Chicago, because you're still going to have your regular voters and you're going to bring back some of the disenfranchised members of the black community.
Yeah. It's
How about some legal gun ownership so people can take care of...
You don't want people being able to defend themselves, Steve. Come on.
I want to be able to take care of business when they need to.
Well, I've been in those parts of Chicago, and it's interesting to see how those communities are set up. Fences around the houses. There's signs in the windows that do everything they can to deter criminal activity. There's a lot, but at the end of the day, it's very strict in terms of being able to get a gun. So when you talk about we have background checks, the places where I have to take a background check. My gun never got up and said, "Today I cocked myself and rolled into the kitchen."
That you know of. Maybe he does it when you're asleep.
Could be sitting there with my dog June on the couch, flipping through channels,
like
looking
Toy
for
Story.
Ellen, going, "What happened to Ellen? I better find Ellen or I'm going to shoot something."
Ooh, Natalie, look at her.
Oh,
I've just had those I feel like with her, it's like you were talking to a 3-year-old who's a victim and not taking any ownership.
Yeah.
8. We'll be right back.
Sarah Gonzalez on fire.
The things that are said off camera around here.
I don't know what y'all are talking about.
I feel like this is a hostile work environment. I feel like I'm going to go to work for Ellen.
That would be better for you?
I don't know. Maybe at least we could go out there and... Nah, that douchebag producer she's got, that guy on Twitter's, whatever his name is.
Oh.
Anyway, the little guy that's so scared in the haunted houses, they send him there.
She'd be a great wingman.
Andy something.
Andy, yeah. We're going to be in Tomball, Texas on Saturday and Sunday night. I don't know why I'm telling you because they're already sold out. But we added another show in Spring, Texas at Max Sports Bar and Grill.
Aw.
Doesn't that sound like the dude drop in? It's got chicken wire and everything. No, Max is a nice place, M-A-K, in Spring, Texas. We're going to be down there, me and Cooper Wade. It's going to be we're calling it a pre-CD release party. Party Foul Steve isn't playing any instruments, but he'll be there.
I will be there, and I will be performing.
Oh, they'll be lining up for you, Steve.
So, yeah, come down there and see us. Very limited tickets. Every seat's a VIP. And then go get tickets for the following week. Next week at Salt Lake City. We're headed to Salt Lake City for a series of shows. I don't remember how many, but we're going to be there for a couple of days. Let's go do it. You get it all at watchchad.com. And, of course, Sarah Gonzalez Unfiltered. Sarah Gonzalez, the host of The News and Why It Matters. Sarah Gonzalez Pregnant. And, of course,
at Party
the Texas Legend, SteveHelmsBand.com.
Not pregnant.
And what am I forgetting? What am I forgetting? Party Foul Steve. We love y'all. God bless. Talk to you later. Bye.